Good evening. Thank you for coming. And today we will deal about Almsgiving. So before we start, let us start with a prayer. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the gift of this day. We thank you for having gathered us. We thank you for all the manifold blessings that you have been showering upon each and every one of us. We ask you to give us true knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, that as we journey through the season of Lent, we may know you more and more, and that would help us to reach you. We make this prayer through Christ our Lord. Amen. So, dear brothers, our title for today is Almsgiving, Purifying the Soul. By sharing what you have, that helps you to purify your own soul. How? We remember the creation story when God took the clay and made an image, and He put His own spirit into the image, and that the human or a human person came into existence. And maybe in other word, we would say the spark of the divinity, which is called our soul. According to philosopher Plato, he would say, we were all in heaven. At an appropriate time, we came to this earth for a purpose. So, as you live here on this earth, we try to accomplish the plan. Once you end, you go back. So, on the process of traveling here on this earth, we need to purify our own soul. We need enough energy to fight against the evil forces, to reach the purpose of our existence. So almsgiving is not the one and the only purpose, means to enrich yourself, but rather it is one of the element which helps you somehow to purify your soul. And almsgiving also helps us to renew the image of God in us, because we all bear the image and likeness of God. So almsgiving will help us to realize such a purpose. Have you ever been in need? Just look at the images, like maybe you are on a long drive, maybe you got some trouble in your car, or you need a lift, or you are having an heart attack, or some kind of health issues. How will you feel? Have you been at any time in need? I remember 2 days before I was sharing one of my story in need, maybe as a priest in 2013 in Africa. I was in a parish. I did not have anything to survive. Usually as associate, they did not give me any, remuneration. Remuneration would mean pocket money, okay? So for 3 months, I was in a parish. The pastor never bothered about me. He thought having associate would mean to feed him token of feeding, he will do the sacraments. So that was his idea, okay? It's not my idea. So I'm not trying, maybe that person may be watching it. He's one of our own priests, okay? So I'm not trying to hurt him. So for 3 months, he has been telling me that the finance committee, the pastoral council have decided to give you something for your survival, maybe for your phone plan or for your personal uses. I said, okay. So it went on the first month, second month, third month. Because when I went to Africa, I had just $100, literally speaking. I did not have any other money. So I was spending all these $100 for 3 months for my phone plan and etc. Then, for a week, my phone was not working. The package expired. I do not know whom to call. I am ashamed to beg. Whom to beg, first of all? You should know somebody. And I do not know the language, literally speaking. I know to say hello, hi, bye. So maybe 3 words. So with hello, hi, and bye, you can't get maybe $5. So once I was sitting and praying, thinking that I should go home back. I'm not fit for a missionary. So I found, I was praying, then came out of the church, I found a person, carpenter, working. I just said, can I borrow your phone? He looked at me strangely, being a priest, all the more an Indian, foreigner, looking for someone's mobile phone. Then he said, okay, you can have it. Then I called a priest nearby whom I know and said, I'm undergoing a crisis. I have nothing to survive. I'm so sad. He said, give me 30 minutes. Then he came, he took care of me. I knew him I met him only 2 times. I did not spend even more time, but he showed up once, gave me enough money to survive. Then he gave me enough phone balances. Then he went home. Then he told me, if you need anything, before the plans get over, try to text me. Or as you did now, you can do it. From that day till today, whenever I am in need, I always remember this person. I have been in need in very many times, and most of the daily mass, communicants will know most of my stories. How do you feel when you are in the situation of need? Do you feel angry? Hatred? Sometimes you may feel to kill your own self. You feel that you have no meaning of living. Such a bad, situation. You feel that you are lost. I do not know what was your experience, but, how can we fight such situation? I don't have any other solutions for telling, I use prayer as the only solution when I am in need. And I know that my needs are met. Have you ever helped someone? We all might have done, one way or the other. What was your feeling after helping somebody? Did you feel happy or sad? I know once, I remember, I went to drop my niece, in the train station. She's traveling far. I do not know, my sister told me, you have to drop her. I said, okay, I can do that. So I dropped her. I did not ask her anything. As usual, I bought her some cookies and a bottle of water, and gave her and said, okay, fine, I will see you later. I was busy. as priest, usually we are busy. So I started moving. After going some further, I realized I did not ask her whether she has money or not. Started running behind the train. The train started moving. Running behind, then she was telling, no problem, go, go. I somehow moved, put my hand over my pocket, whatever I had, I just took and gave her and came home. I felt happy. She's a girl, maybe she was 28 years old. She just started working. I do not know what she had. When I met her the next time, she was very much grateful. She said, I really did not have anything. It's all about, the happiness that comes, the moment you give something wholeheartedly. When you put your heart, mind, and soul in giving something to somebody, that happiness, even if somebody gives you $100 million, you will not get such a happiness. So coming to the talk, what is almsgiving? It is another word for charity, or maybe love in action. You express your love for somebody through your own action, or it is also a mean or a way to reach those who are in need. And it is also a form of prayer. It's not a prayer. Prayer does not mean that you just sit in the church and pray. When you help somebody, when you extend your hand to somebody, it's also an act of prayer. Why do we give alms? Why at all? Many people would ask, in Africa, the parishioners has to give some kind of alms, or a contribution to the diocese. Many people won't do that. So I had a tendency to go or move around house by house. I visit my parishioners yearly twice. I bless them, I talk to them, maybe 5 minutes I spend. Then I used to ask them, how are they helping the church, what are they doing, etc. Many people would say, does the bishop does not have anything? Does your church poor? So you are looking for some contribution? They used to ask me many questions. I would say, if you feel that you just wanted to share what you have with others, you should give, But generally speaking, it helps one to be less selfish. When you amass a lot of wealth, a lot of riches, what are you going to do? Like 2 days before I was on a trip, 2 days trip, I was visiting some of our, priest companions. They were all elders. I was the youngest one. They are in their 60s and 70s. I was in 35. So they are not my companions, okay? It's a spiritual assistance. I just went and met them. One of the priests was telling, if at all, if somebody gathers a lot of riches, is he going to carry them home? Carry them home would mean when you go to heaven or hell, will you be able to carry? Just it's a funny talk that while we were talking, then he just asked me, how are you, going to carry all that you have? And I said, no, I'm not going to carry anything. Then he said, then make sure, what you have, you should share with others. Even your own time, anything that you have as precious, you need to share. That helps you to be less selfish, less possessive to material things. I remember one of the story. When I was in seminary, I was not a super intelligent person. And most of my people, daily mass communicants, they know that I am a very, very poor student. I don't study well in the beginning, but I have the ability to explain the subject very easily. So in our class, the least one always look for me during the exams. Sometimes they score more than me. I am the one who is teaching them, and they will score more than me. After every exam, some of my friends, 2 or 3 of them, would always walk to my room and knock and say, "Thank you so much for helping today." When they say that, "Thank you so much," even if I could get 100 out of 100, 90 out of 100, I don't have much happiness than that friend of mine who comes and tells, "Thank you. You helped me to get a considerable score, just to pass. It's okay." So it's all about, I'm not telling that you need to be too strange. But what you have, you and I need to share, that is very much important. We all will have, some kind of a understanding. What do you mean by property? We all love to have good houses, good cars, enough bank balance. That is not a sin at all. You can have how much you could afford, okay? What are the things we do with this money and property? Usually, that helps you to have a good social status, or to educate your children, grandchildren, supports the family financially, medically, or physically, however. That also helps us to have enough entertainment. Without entertainment, we will become mad people, crazy. So, these are all helps us to be in good shape in the society. But every religion, you take Hinduism, Buddhism, Islam, Judaism, or Christianity, they all say the same fact, saying that when you have in abundance or more, try to share with those who has not, nothing else more. You shall not be too much greedy, but rather give something. The church will never tell, give up everything and go and beg. That is foolishness, stupidity. The church does not want to do that. Every religion tells us to share a little what we have with others. What can I give? Usually, maybe before Lent, you could have thought about it. What am I going to give this Lent to fulfill my almsgiving obligation? There are very many means. It depends upon every person. You can give money, your own time. You can give some food materials, as you are doing on the first Sunday of the month, or a helping hand. You may see somebody, like the church, they may say, "I need a ride." You could say, "Okay, fine, I will drop you." Being one, or a service. Maybe we may say, we need ushers, we need lectors, we need sacristans, we need religious teachers, or anything, wiping the pews. It's also a service, or prayer. You find somebody in need, like last Sunday, maybe it was at 2 p.m., there was a knock on the door in the rectory. At the time, Father Courtright was out of the station. Only I was there. At first I was scared. Who is that knocking my door? Then I opened, I found an elderly person who is a stranger standing, and he just greeted, "Hello, sir." I said, "Yes, what do you want?" He said, "I need your prayer." Nothing else more. "I'm so and so, I need your prayer." I said, "Surely, I can pray." I said, "For what? Do you need anything special? Special prayers?" He said, "My family is struggling. They are undergoing a lot of problems. So please pray for them." I said, "Okay, fine. I will pray for them." Then, the chapel is just the next step. I just stepped in, told Jesus, "Jesus, you have seen this person. Please bless him. Give him all that he needs." A simple prayer I made and came. From that day till today, I remember him. Whenever I come to the church, the first person I remember is he. That does not take a lot of expense or time. Just when you meet Jesus, when you confront him, we just tell about somebody, that really helps. Coming to Hinduism, they use the term dana. Okay, or bhiksha is the word used for almsgiving. And they feel that it is one of the noble deed which is done without anything in return. Okay, maybe if I am giving you a ride, okay, tomorrow you have to give me a ride. No, there is no expectation. Maybe if I'm helping you today, feel that, okay, fine, next time he will help me. You shall not give anything in return without any expectation. And they believe that when you give alms, that affects your rebirth. The first talk we dealt about the recycle of birth. So you have to reach the Creator, to the heaven. So until you reach heaven, the Hindus and Buddhists will have the rotation of birth. Maybe this time you may be born as a human person, next time maybe a cow, next time maybe a small insect. That's how you suffer for all the damages that you have done to the image of God. Then once you purify your soul, you will reach back to God. So they say when you give alms, that helps you to have a better reincarnation. You will have a better creation, the life after death. So we believe in life after death, but not the recycle of birth, but they believe in it. So they believe that when you give something to others, that affects your rebirth. And they also say that when you give with delight is what is meaningful. Maybe when I'm giving you something, maybe you say your phone is beautiful, I just need it, I don't have one. So how do you give it? With cheerfulness or with, oh my God, I have no other goal. I have to give it. Maybe somebody has seen you that you have money. In your wallet, we have seen that you have a couple of dollars. Then I'm just saying, can I get $2 for a coffee? So that I'm a priest. I have seen that you have money. Okay, Father, no problem, Okay, have it. That is not a good gesture, That is not, you are not giving me with cheerfulness. So Hindus believe that anything which is given, $1 million or $1 or 1 cent, that has to be given with delight, with cheerfulness, without any expectation, is what helps you to have or helps you to purify your soul. There are very many forms of giving. The Hindus believe one 1/9 of the income, the yearly income has to be given as alms. So usually that is one way. Or the other way, they divide the income into 4 different categories. The first one, they give to religious community. Maybe a group of nuns working for a cause, or a group of priests, the religious priest. They will have their own charism. So they may give to a religious house, one person, the one portion. The second one, they may give to non-profit organizations. Maybe women care center or men care center, something, non-profit, like a church, Church is a non-profit entity. So they may give it to a church or something. The third one, they give to the poor, those who are needy, beggars, strangers, maybe those who are abandoned by family members, orphans. So they try to distribute. The fourth portion is kept as saving, in the savings of the family. So maybe you are getting $10,000 as your income. The usual custom of Hindus, they divide into $2,050, $500, that how? So $250 for a religious community, $2,500 as for a non-profit organization. Then $2,500 they will give out to the poor people, homeless. Then $2,500 they will put as the savings of the year. So that's one way. Then Hindu temples are also an institutions of almsgiving. Like India, when you go, like evening times, you find people bringing some snacks, food, they will give out. They will pray to their god or goddesses, saying that, okay, I'm going to do this, a little charity to help this. So we used to go around, when I'm in the town, I used to go in the evenings with my friends to Hindu temples. Then we will be standing in a queue. Then they will give you, in a small bowl, maybe some snack or some food. Just receive them and eat and go back. They are free, okay? You don't have to pay. So we just go around. But it is also blessed. Even Catholics in India, they do the same. Especially during the season of Lent, whenever we have the evening mass, you could find some ladies coming with big containers, a lot of food. Then after the mass, they will try to give to others. That is also an act of charity that they do. So most of the Hindu temples will have such practices. Coming back to Buddhism, it is a known practice. Usually, almsgiving is done to support the monks, because the monks do not live in their houses. So they really support. And there is also alms round, okay? So that is all about, around the monastery there will be a mark. So whoever wanted to donate something to the monks, it's only food materials, the cooked food. So they will just sit down in a respective manner. They shall not have their sandals on their head, and they have to kneel down, half kneel and wait. Then the monks, starting with the elder and the youngest, they come in a row and stop by with their bowl. Then everyone will give a little. That's how the almsgiving is done. And Buddha would say a midway almsgiving. That would mean when you give alms, you shall not give everything. Maybe you have $10,000, you give all the 10,000 to the church or something, and afterwards you regret for yourself. Oh my gosh, I gave everything. I don't have anything. And if somebody comes and asks for some help, you have more, and you just take, $1 and give him, while you have $1,000 in your wallet. Then afterwards, you feel guilty. Oh, I could have given him more. What is there? So Buddha would say, give midway. You shall not give all that you have, or you shall not be so stringent in giving. So that's what he would tell. So this is one of the small video how the almsgiving is done in Buddhism. As I said, starting with the elder, the youngest will be at the end. So they just come in a line, okay? So it is done in the morning. So that is the way they have to pay respect to the monks and give whatever they have, okay? And share or support the monks. Once the bowl is full, he will cover with the cover over. So he will stop by, but he will not receive anything. In the case of fasting, the monk will receive only from 7 people. He will eat that. So that is considered to be a kind of fasting in Buddhism. Okay? So Buddhists also believe that when they give alms, that affects the rebirth. They will have a better life after death that will help them to reach God. That's what they believe. Then coming to Islam, it's one of the pillars. The Islam, they believe 5 pillars. So almsgiving, zakat, is one of the pillars. So they have to give 2.5% of their annual income as zakat, or as alms. They say that almsgiving is to purify or to grow better. First of all, the word almsgiving in the Middle East, in Arab, the meaning is to grow or to purify. So they believe by giving out what you have with others, that helps one to purify his soul or helps one to grow better. And they also believe that if you don't give the alms, then you undergo eternal punishment. Allah will punish you. So they do it. And the usual time of almsgiving is any time of the year. But most of the time, the Muslims give alms in the month of Ramadan. And usually, Islam considers every person as equal. There is no distinction between poor and rich. So this almsgiving will help even the least of the community to come up. I remember I had a friend. I used to play with him cricket. So they were very poor people. But every year, the Muslim community in that village will choose one family during the month of Ramadan, and they will gather maybe 1% of their income from every house, extraordinary collection. Then try to give to that poor family to sustain. And they will help that person to go, and they will find a job for him in Middle East. And they will try to lift that family. So the father of my friend, who was very poor, the villagers helped him to find a job in Middle East. They paid for his ticket. They paid for his visa, etc. He went, he worked hard. Within 5 years, they were a middle class people. Who helped it? He put a lot of hard work, but the villagers, they all came together. So every year, they have this tendency of helping one poor person. Maybe somebody who is struggling to give his daughter or her daughter into marriage. they all support, and try to help or uplift the family. So they have a beautiful practice. Then these are, there are the 2.5% of annual income is given only to these 8 types of people. There is nobody outside this group cannot receive this fund. So they are very much strict with it. Coming to the effects, they feel that when you give alms, that helps one to grow in generosity. It helps you to grow in your faith. It helps you to purify your own self. Then when you give out, you receive special financial aid. Maybe if you have a business, your business will grow better. So they believe, it's like Jesus said, by giving, you receive. So they also believe in the same concept. Coming to Judaism, we know well, because we read the Old Testament, we know how almsgiving came into existence. It started with our father of faith, Abraham, that he gave 10% to the king of Salem, Melchizedek. So it started from there. Then later, during the time of Moses, he legalized, or he made it an obligation. Every Jew has to pay 10% of his annual income to the poor, or he has to give. That's what we call it, tithe. So there are 3 types of tithes that the Jews believe. One is annual tithe, which is used to support priests, Levites, and religious persons. The second one is called annual feast tithe, which is helped to maintain the church. Also, it is the collection to have the burnt offerings, the sin offerings, and the sacrifices which were done in the temple of Jerusalem. They were all met by the second tax. The third one is called the tithe of the poor, which is collected 3 years once, which is also used to help the poor people and the Levites. Because the Levites do not work. They are just the group of people who were connected with religious activities. So to support them, the Jews usually make these 3 types of tithes that they have. Forms of giving, the Jews believe you can give out your wealth. If you have money or a property, you can give that to God or one's own service or manual labor. Maybe you see Ken, he's cleaning around the church, then you came. So you could say, friend, can I help you out to vacuum or to, wipe the pews, it's a kind of charity that you are trying to do. Maybe you find somebody struggling on your way. So manual labor is a kind of, religious practice. Then finally, one's wisdom. You find that one of your neighbor is struggling. He is trying with very many business, but he is not a prudent person. So he always fails. You have the solutions. Or you find one of your family member is drug addict. He's struggling with his life. You can offer good advice, through your wisdom, knowledge, experience. You can also help. So these are the other ways. Yeah, just one point I missed. There is also in the image you find a tin, like a canister. Usually in Jewish houses, it will be in blue or white color, which is kept all through the year. So every time a Jew tries to put some coin for the sake of charity, so that is not spent for something else. It's only for the purpose of charity, which is called tzedakah. So usually, this is the medium the Jews have in their houses to train their kids to practice charity. I remember when I was a kid, maybe third, fourth grader, my mom used to give me one made with clay. She used to say, that is your bank, it is for your savings. Whenever I give you some money, you should put it there and save. End of the year, I will try to buy you something. Then she also will say, the one who has more will be rewarded. We are 6 kids. One of my sister died, so we are 6. So everyone will try. Whenever we have the relatives coming to visit us, we will be so good to them, because at the end they will give us, some kind of tip, like a pocket money they will give. Whenever I used to see my dad, I would say, you have to give me $1. You have to give me $1. I used to cry and get. End of the year, my mom will take all that and give to the church. Then we will be sad for 2 or 3 days. Then again she will bring the containers and say, okay, come on, do it. This year, surely I will give you. But I have done a couple of times, not even one time, my mom used that money for our personal things. She will take on Sunday and put in the Sunday collection and come back. That's how she helped us to learn almsgiving. There are 4 stages of giving, almsgiving in Judaism, which is not applicable for all of us, okay? So the first one is minimum. 2% of your income you give to the poor or to a non-profit entity, etc. You give out 2% is a minimum almsgiving. Good is 10%. Okay, we just stick with 10%, is it? So when you give 10% alms, so that is considered to be good. Better is 20% of your annual income you give out. It's called a better almsgiving. Maybe the fourth one, best is 50-50. 50% of your annual income you give out to the people is called the best. And Jews believe the more you give, the more you receive. So that's what they believe. I don't tell you guys to do that, okay? Coming to Christianity, it's an act of charity that you share with the less fortunate. Jesus would say, the poor are always with us. So how are we going to help them? So it is, an act of charity. Taking the example of God. God gave His only Son. Taking the example of Jesus. He died on the cross, sacrificing His own life for our salvation. So the church trusts that we all need to take the example of Jesus and practice almsgiving. And in the Gospels, we find almsgiving is a frequent theme that the Gospels run towards. And it is also one of the 3 pillars of Lent: fasting, almsgiving, and prayer. Reasons for almsgiving. Why at all we Catholics need to give alms? So it is said, Jesus told us, in the Gospels we know, Jesus said, the measure you give will be the measure you get. Do to others as you would then want to do to you, etc. There are so many quotes we could quote. So Jesus himself told us to share what you have. Secondly, we are all created in the image and likeness of God. The richest person in the world is also created in the image and likeness of God, so also the poorest. So how are we helping? So if you help your brother, you make him to realize the image of God in him and in you. Thirdly, out of gratitude, not out of guilt. God, you have given me, so I am sharing something with others. Maybe I have 2 sandwiches, I am giving one to the person who has not. Okay, it's out of gratitude because I have more. One day, I remember it was while we were in lockdown, there was somebody knocking the door after 6. I opened, it was one of our parishioners. He dropped 3 beers, and said, Father, I have more, so I just wanted to share with you. It was so nice of him, We never thought that he would do that way, but he said, I have more, so I just thought of sharing with you guys. You need it. Then I said, yes, thank you so much. Then we were drinking it, That's how, you find that something more, then you just come and share. Or taking the example of Jesus, as I said, on the cross, he gave himself. So if Jesus' sacrifice is that much, as the follower of Jesus, how much do I need to give? That's very much important. Areas of giving, here we'll have a lot of issues, okay? It's my own definition, okay? You shall not worry about it. The individual are transitory. So you find somebody after the Mass or on your way, outside your workplace, somebody who is in need. So you give out something, which you do not do it consecutively. Just maybe once in a while, you give out something. Or you see me, maybe last Sunday after the Mass, I was walking, one of our parishioners came and gave me a gift card. Okay, he said, Father, have you tried this restaurant? I said, no. He said, you should try. Okay. He does not give me every month, okay? But he gives once in a while. That is the individual giving. Organized or permanent. I had a help, I had few benefactors till my priesthood. So every month, they will send to the religious order $100 each. Every month. So these benefactors have accepted to give $1,200 for my study, food and allowance. So they have not stopped it. So it is organized, permanent. So they started when I was in philosophy, 3 years. Then 4 years in theology, they helped me for 7 years. Then when I was ordained, they said, we are done now. We are not helping you. We are going to help the new seminarians. I said, fine. Thank you so much for helping me. Now that's organized one. Maybe you also will do that, same. Then finally, we have 3. Usually we do tithe, offer, and almsgiving. You put some money in the offertory on Sunday collections. You all have the envelopes. Tithe also is part of it, okay? You have some kind of a organization, 5% you give to the parish, 1% to the diocese, or 3% you give to some non-profit, It's all up to you. According to me, the church tells us to do something, but it's out of love. It's not by force. Okay, if I don't do, then I am a sinner, so I'm just trying to give without cheerfulness. It's a sin. Anything that you give, even $1, you should give with whole heart. Coming to the Bible, as we said, in Judaism we found, it started in the Old Testament through our father in faith. In Old Testament time, the people believed almsgiving is justice that you are doing to your brother. It is not charity, but it is justice. I have more, this brother of mine has nothing, so I give. I do some justice for him. But the New Testament, it's a different thing. So we have corporal works of mercy. We do help the church collections, different ministries of the church, etc. When you read Acts of the Apostles, the letter of St. Paul, we understand better how the believers in the early Christian community contributed for the growth of the church. In conclusion, when was the last time you gave alms? It's silly, is it? I give every time. It's okay. Here, I don't mean the Sunday collections, but when did you find a person who was really in need and helped him? What was your, feelings? That is very much important. How did you feel? Then we have, do this, don't do this. There are some who give out for the sake of fame and name. We shall not do that, okay? That's what Jesus said. What your right hand gives, let your left hand not know. That's what Jesus always likes. Anything, let your God the Father knows. He sees you, He will know, and He will repay you. You don't have to tell others. So that's how. Finally speaking, it is an exercise for detachment. When you give out, you are not attached. You are not strict to something which you love more. Almsgiving is also a reminder that money is not ultimate good on this earth. Our money always distracts us from concentrating on the values of life. But giving up some money helps you to redirect yourself to God, to the values. So with that, I conclude. Thank you so much for coming. Any question? You are most welcome. I suppose if you do not have any question, I know that you did not understand. It's okay. The next week, we will have penance practices in different religion. Usually we have more than 70 slides. It's all images, okay? There is no much explanation. You can see, it's all about mortifying oneself. How the other religion, Hindus and Muslims and Buddhists or Jews or Christians, other side, not here, maybe outside the country, how do they practice their penances? That will help you to understand better, your own faith. If you have no question, thank you so much. There is one. Okay. Okay. Okay, that's a good contribution. Thank you. Okay. Otherwise, thank you so much for coming. May God bless you.